Quiet on the set. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. I'm Dear Myrtle, your not so retired friend at Genealogy. Welcome to Mondays with Myrt, where we talk about anything and everything that's come across our Genia desks in the last, 2 weeks since last we met. And it looks like we've got a whole bunch of folks out there that already know there's going to be a giveaway today. The hashtag that I'm looking for is Mondays with Myrt. And hello to Wanda from Alabama, and Deb is here from LA. Frank, of course, is our guy from Germany, and I'm going to be taking panelist Ursula's class on Saturday. Oh, anyway, learning more about Germany. Hi, Flo, you got the hashtag in there just right. Copy and paste it from what Sherry will be reminding you of throughout today's broadcast. Hi, Kathy. There's Cindy from Northern California. And let's see who else we've got. There's my John Tracy Cunningham. So do you want to know what we're going to be doing today? I imagine I shouldn't withhold that information now, should I? All right, let's see what I can do to pull this up. Yeah. So our hashtag is Mondays with Myrt. And let me turn off that comment from John, or he's going to be there all day. There we go. And so far, 9 of you have entered. So I will do the drawing at the end of the show. What I'm planning to give away is the Genealogy Standards book. And I'm going to give us a little second here to look at it. So that you can see the backwards version of the table of contents. You can ask me to send this to you if you're the winning person in Kindle format or in paperback version. I kind of like the Kindle lately, not because I'm being like Dick Eastman, who says he wants to do everything digital, but because it's every word searchable. I don't have to flip through all the little pages, but that could just be me. Yeah, look at these topics. This is just the chapter on documenting what it is you're seeing and how specific you're going to be and what are the elements that are required and recommended. Now, who published this book? This is from the Board for Certification of Genealogists. Here in the United States, they're one of the 2 accrediting organizations. So think about that. About what we're going to do first is meet with this guy. This guy, Dan, has invented something that Randy Seaver made me aware of. So, Frank, if you could pull Randy and Dan up, we're going to be talking about Genealogy Assistant and find out more. So everyone else can go out in the wings, and we'll take it from there. Okay. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Thank you. And Frank, if you need to jump in, do. We'll see how well we do. I'm already getting messages in the. Oh, we just lost Dan. Oh, he's here. He's good. All right, we're sharing my screen right now. Dan Maloney, welcome. Thank you for agreeing to be my guest today. You'll find that Mondays with Myrt is very relaxed and it's more like a conversation than a lecture. Randy is the one who brought this work of yours to my attention. And I want to know more about the Genealogy Assistant and why Randy's so excited about it. That's why he's also on the stage. So talk to me first. What made you come up with this particular assistant? I think we do need it.
Yeah, so Genealogy Assistant was a series of tools that I developed in my own research, my own family history research. And I have a background as a web developer and a web designer. So whenever I encountered any kind of pain point or something that I thought I could improve upon on the functionality of the different family history websites, I made my own personal tool just for my own use. And eventually I got up to 10, 15, 20 of them. And I thought, well, maybe other people would find some value in these tools as well. So I packaged them all up into a Chrome extension, which is basically an application that runs in your Google Chrome browser. And also it's now available for Microsoft Edge as well. But I thought other people may enjoy using these tools. It may help with their own family history research. So I decided to publish an extension.
Well, totally cool. Thank you, Randy, for sharing the link to where you get the Chrome extension. Well, that's actually the description of it, info about it. Can you give me that link also in the private chat, Randy? All right, so let's share your screen and talk to us a little bit more about this. Part of why I was excited. Well, first of all, if Randy recommends something, I pretty much go with the flow on that. So whatever you paid him to bribe me is good. But what gets me is you're actually a genealogy researcher yourself. So
yeah.
So that already makes me comfortable with the Genealogy Assistant. Go forward and tell me more.
Yeah, and I think you're right. The way that I developed the tools, they're all kind of organic. In my own family history research, I noticed these kind of pain points, things that would drive me crazy, things I wish I could improve upon. And I developed tools to fix them. And I also from a number of my users have also sent me things like, hey, I wish Ancestry could do this. Would you be able to add a tool to do that? And I've been able to do that as well. So if you don't mind, I'd like to give you a little bit of a kind of walkthrough of some of my favorite features of Genealogy Assistant and also show you kind of how it works.
Okay.
So you can install Genealogy Assistant from the Chrome Web Store. I think Randy may have shared the link already, but you can also get to the Chrome Web Store a few ways. You can get, if you visit my website, it's genia.ca, and you click the Install Genealogy Assistant link at the top of the page, and you can choose Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. I'll choose Google Chrome, and it's just a single click to install it. You click the blue Add to Chrome button, and it will be added to your browser in a single click. Once you install Genealogy Assistant, it's kind of hidden away. In Google Chrome, the extensions all appear underneath this little puzzle piece icon.
Yes.
And if you click on that, you can click the push pin icon next to Genealogy Assistant, and that's what will make it kind of live in your Chrome menu bar all the time. And I actually have a couple other extensions that I developed that I just need to make sure are on. I developed a couple other extensions, Genia Ancestry Auto Blur and Genia MyHeritage Auto Blur. And these are extensions that I developed. They're free. But what they do, so if we go to the Ancestry homepage, it's not on.
Hillary, listen to this part, because I know you're planning to talk to us in the future about your DNA matches, and the blurring capability is pretty cool. Okay, go ahead.
So now I'm on the Ancestry homepage, and the sensitive information, stuff that I wouldn't necessarily want to share on a live broadcast, is automatically blurred and hidden in real time. I can't see what's underneath the blur either, but it is just to kind of protect people's personal information, especially with regards to DNA matches and things like that. But it's another free extension that I have that some people watching this broadcast may find value in if you do screencast. But anyways, here I am on the Ancestry homepage, and Genealogy Assistant lives in the top of your Chrome menu bar. And if you click on it, you'll have a number of features that you can turn on or off. There's, I think, over 45, between 45 and 50 extensions that you can turn on or off depending on your research preferences. And they're all kind of categorized into different sections. We've got ancestry research tools, ancestry DNA tools, which are specific to the ancestry DNA section, MyHeritage DNA tools, and also a few tools for family search. And I've got all the extensions turned on right now, and I leave them on all the time. These are all features that I use on a daily basis, so you can turn them on.
Yeah, may I interject here? Scroll down.
Absolutely.
Scroll down.
Yep.
You are a very smart man, because right there under the red button, watch video walkthroughs, that is content. Well, as close as you can get to context sensitive help, guys. I love it when information on how to use a tool is available in a video. So kudos to you for that. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled program.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not generally in front of the camera guy, so I'm glad you appreciate the video, because they're a lot of tough work for me. I'd rather be like the code guy, not the camera guy. But I'm certainly happy to be here today. It's good practice to make these videos in anticipation of being on your program and doing it live.
You're doing fine. Go for it.
Thank you. So with the Genealogy Assistant pop-up panel, you can turn on or off the features, and if you want to learn more about them, the video is a great way to kind of get a full overview of specifically what each feature does. And there's also a little information icon that if you hover over, it will give you kind of a description of what that particular feature does. So the best way to kind of learn about it is to watch the video. It will give you a full kind of walkthrough of each particular feature, and you can kind of visualize it. Being able to see how a feature works, I think, is the best way to learn about it. So with all the features turned on, I'm here on the Ancestry homepage, and you notice it looks a little different. It's a little darker. That's one of the features of Genealogy Assistant, the first feature actually, which is darker styled look and feel. And that kind of just gives a kind of dimmer look to Ancestry. I find when I'm doing, long research sessions, or especially, this time of year when it gets dark so early, I'm doing a lot of my research in, a dark room. I find that having kind of something that's a little easier on the eyes helps with, eye strain, and being able to really power through when you're 500 pages deep, flipping through records on Ancestry manually, unindexed records. It kind of takes a little bit of the edge off of your screen.
And wait till you get older and you have to have trifocals and everything else. Anyway, let me pull Randy in here for a second so you can take a breath. First, Randy, why are you so excited about this program? What are you? Gosh, it's got a plethora of tools available here, and it's only $23.88 for a lifetime subscription, which is pretty amazing. Tell me what excited you about this Genealogy Assistant.
I had two things. One is the DNA matches the high DNA matches are highlighted in red and bold and big. And with my eyes and with 46,000 matches, I needed that, something like that. Secondly, I've always struggled downloading the DNA match list to my computer to put into a spreadsheet the DNA matches. And consequently, Dan has the feature to download your matches to a CSV file, and you can pick how many pages of matches you want on Ancestry, and it works on MyHeritage also.
Mm-hmm.
And consequently, those were the two big things. Now, within the DNA part of it, he also has shared matches, the shared match list of a match.
Mm-hmm.
Shared matches of matches thing. And so you can, again, see the important ones, the ones that are close relatives of your match. And so the highlighting of it, works well.
And how many matches do you have that are like close matches? You've got all that New England ancestry, which
I have about 2,000 in the close matches with more than 20 centimorgans.
Oh, vey.
So one of the things that Dan has also is you can make 50 matches on a page, on a web page, instead of 20. And consequently, so my 2,000, I can get 40 pages of, or 50 pages of 40 pages of 50 matches each into one spreadsheet. It takes 5 minutes, 6 minutes, something like that.
But that's pretty good. All right. So there's a personal recommendation, Dan.
That's excellent. I really appreciate it.
All right. Let me go back to your screen share. And you have to realize, you probably do realize that Randy is a deep researcher, and he loves taking an app like, well, there are no apps like this app out there. And he loves to just run it, 9 ways to Sunday to figure out all the little nooks and crannies of what's available. And I trust him. Tell me what we're looking at now. We're looking at your DNA matches. They're partially obscured, but their photo shows up. Okay.
Yeah, so their names are blurred out.
Yeah.
So these are this is the shared matches using Pro Tools of me and one of my matches.
Mm-hmm.
And as Randy was describing, one of the features of Genealogy Assistant will allow you to highlight your high value, high centimorgan matches. So by default, any match on the shared match side over 25 centimorgans and any match of a match over 50 centimorgans will be highlighted in red and bold. So if I load this page, I can kind of quickly scroll down and identify, well, this person has a father, this person has, an aunt or a grandmother, a close kind of second degree relation. Mm-hmm. They've got quite a few of them, actually, maybe a sibling, maybe a third cousin, fourth cousin, maybe. But identifying these high value matches of matches is really helpful for triangulation and being able to identify a common ancestor. And not everybody's going to have these high value matches of matches. So you're loading so many different matches kind of all day long, and being able to quickly point out, well, this person has some great close matches to them. They would be worth investigating. So it kind of guides you in the right path of being able to really pick which match you want to narrow in on, focus your research in on first.
Absolutely. That concept of not just you to a match, but that matches being also high value or high numbers to you. You don't normally see them in a format. That triangulation is mission critical, because when you've got 2,000 matches, my gosh, which ones are you going to pick? You need to know the matches to your high number matches. Very good. I didn't say that very well, but I think we get the point.
And one of the cool things is you can narrow it in based on your own preferences. So if you open the Genealogy Assistant pop-up panel and you scroll down to the bottom, there's a blue button called Advanced Settings, and you can adjust the centimorgan threshold. So if I only wanted my matches of matches, say over 500 centimorgans, to show up to give, really high value matches, I'll save my advanced settings. And if I reload the page, the only matches that are highlighted are the ones that will be over 500 centimorgans. So the one that was highlighted before at 57 is now just a standard match. So it really allows you to customize it based on your own research preferences.
So the red highlight is something that your genealogy assistant inserts on top.
Exactly. Yeah. So Genealogy Assistant doesn't, modify Ancestry's own website. It's basically a layer. Ancestry serves everybody all of the time, their exact code, the way that they distribute it and the way that they've designed it. And Genealogy Assistant is software that runs on your own computer. I kind of equate it to, wearing sunglasses. It just kind of changes the way that, everything is appearing on your own screen to you.
All right. Let me bring up some comments from folks. Okay. One second. All right. So Monta is speaking on the same level that I am. So this does not disrupt anything at Ancestry. It looks like an overlay. So Monta, you are right. That's exactly what Dan is telling us.
Exactly.
That's a good way to describe it. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? Oh, yeah. Randy did share his link with you all. I showed it on the screen for a while. The link to his post about Genealogy Assistant. Let's see, what else have we got? Hi, Gwen. She says she's going to use this. And we've only talked about the DNA part of it, basically. Frank, tell me what you're talking about here with the video jumpstart, also jump starts. Come on up. Tell me what you're thinking there.
I was referencing to the tutorial video that Dan put up on the on his own webpage and on the Chrome's web store page and his YouTube channel, which helps a lot that you can jump back and forth with timestamps. So you have simply shortcuts to everything that its extension offers, and you can simply jump to that particular part and
that you want
have to refresh what you want.
Yeah, you don't have to slog through the whole thing. No offense on slog through.
But no, the chapters are really helpful. Yeah,
it really is. And I don't know about you, but I love videos like that where you can pause, rewind, what the heck did Dan just say, and then listen to it again till it sinks in. So good. Let's see. Randy, you were saying you haven't used the general helps, but you're working on learning them. Okay. And Monta says she doesn't pay extra for Ancestry's extras. Does that make a difference, Dan?
It doesn't. So let me.
I'll give it back to you. Yeah.
A match.
Okay. 1 second. I'm going to share your screen. All right. And
so this is with the page with the Ancestry Pro Tools. But if you have just the classic version of Ancestry, the one that looks like the standard shared matches, you still get all the highlighting of your shared matches. You can still download your shared matches as a CSV file. So it works both ways. And also with the select all matches, which is another really interesting feature. Often when I'm researching different lines, I will kind of add all of the shared matches of a person to a group to see where they fit in, and particularly so I can quickly identify in my searches whether or not these two people are connected.
Okay.
So with I'll go back to the Pro Tools version.
Okay, while you're doing that, let me bring Hillary up for a second here.
Yeah.
Hillary, you and I are planning to have a discussion where you need to talk about your DNA tool, your DNA matches. First of all, you've won the lottery lately this last week with all the breakthroughs you've had.
Yeah.
But among them are DNA breakthroughs.
Yeah.
Not just new documents that have come to your attention. And you and I wanted to talk about them. And I said, well, you're going to have something to obscure the names of the individuals, because that is a genealogy standard to which we all adhere. You didn't have a resource to do that, or failing using something like Dan's program, you would have had to do screenshots of every little step of the way that you wanted to demonstrate to us, and then you had to manually go in and obscure their names. And so this is why I said I think you'd be particularly interested in this one of 45 or 50 options that Dan has invented and put into the Genealogy Assistant. So I'm going to do something else today. I'm not always this generous. People will tell you that. I'm also going to, because I know you need it, I'm going to give you a copy of this. I'll give you a lifetime copy of this because it's that important. And so I have your contact information. I'll send you some money so that you can partner with Dan and get that registered, because this is just how important it is for you as a presenter to have this tool just for this one little option. All right.
Because I've written a blog post, but for that blog post, I had to do some screenshots and just cut and just show part of it. Whereas if I could hide the people that were matching and living, then I wouldn't have to do that. So yeah,
totally. Your screenshot would be if you needed it for a PowerPoint, as opposed to a live demo, which is iffy if internet is iffy. Yeah, it saves you so much time. All right. Let me see what else people are saying on the YouTube side. Maria's very interested in this. This is the YouTube video that we've been talking about. And then Sherry has a particular request regarding your all matches. If you deselect all matches, will it only download the filtered list, Dan? We're back to you now.
I'm just trying to understand if you deselect all the matches. So I think, Sherry, you're referring to downloading your matches as a CSV file.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to select them all to download them. So when you're downloading as a CSV file, it will automatically download every shared match or your main matches list. You don't have to manually select them. So with the select all matches, that's only for adding people to groups. So for example, with this match, if I wanted to add all of these shared matches to a group, say this is a person I'm investigating and I'd like to add them to a group, so in my other searches I can quickly identify and say, hey, this person's connected to this match. If I were to want to add them all to a group, I'd normally have to go through and select them all kind of one by one to add them to a group. But what the select all does is it with a single click automatically selects all the matches on the page, so you can quickly add them to a group without having to manually go through one by one.
Okay, so Sherry clarified that she's on the classic shared matches mode. That was her, so it would apply the same way, I think, right?
Yeah, you can do the same thing. So this is the classic shared matches page, and it's got the select all button here as well. So if you want to add these people to a group, you would originally have to kind of go through and click them one by one, but you can also select all matches on the classic shared matches page as well.
Yeah, and Linda is saying this seems like it'd be very valuable. And folks, we haven't even talked about anything else other than this DNA downloading and obscuring of their identity. Can we switch gears? I'm probably way off of what you planned to talk about today, Dan. Can we talk about it from a research of documents, or talk to me about genealogy research, not DNA?
Yeah, definitely. So this is, a page we're all used to seeing. This is a profile page of somebody that's in my family tree. And I'm sure a lot of people here use the Ancestry Advanced Research Tools, which is the toolbar that kind of exists here. I can show you what it looks like, actually. So this is the original Ancestry Research Tools toolbar, which gives you kind of a limited set of options, in my opinion. So I developed a tool called Advanced Research Tools, which is kind of my own version of research tools. And it adds a little bit, few more features that I use on a daily basis. So it's really easy to, view somebody in your family tree, but also access the quick edit and edit relationship buttons, which are kind of hidden by a few clicks up here normally. And one feature that is a Dear Myrtle exclusive, this is the first time anybody's ever seen this feature. It's not out yet, but it will be in a couple days. You'll notice that there are little letters next to each of the features in the Advanced Research Tools toolbar. And you can access those from your keyboard. So if I'm on this page and I hit the R key on my keyboard, it'll automatically open up the Edit Relationships button. If I hit E, it will open the Quick Edit. If I hit V, it'll automatically view the person in the family tree. I've been trying to integrate a few more ways to use your keyboard when you're quickly access these features. Because as a developer, we're always using keyboard shortcuts and stuff like that. And I wish, family history websites had more keyboard shortcuts. So being able to, just quickly land on a page. And if I wanted to save this person, just hit S and it will automatically bring up the save dialog.
This is cool. Sorry. I love that.
Another thing that you may have noticed there, so with the Ancestry, on the Ancestry research side, there in Genealogy Assistant, there are a lot of autofill plugins. So if I were to want to save this person to a tree, you can see that the name is automatically filled in. So it's taken from the name on the page, and it's automatically filled in the appropriate name into the person in tree dialog box. So when you're saving people, especially building DNA trees and stuff like that, you don't have to type in the name when you hit save to tree. It's automatically filled in for you.
Cool.
One of the features that I use all the time, this is, in my opinion, one of the coolest features, is the card catalog search. So we're all often using the Ancestry card catalog to find different different sets of records. And if you hit the Control and / on your keyboard, you'll get a prompt which will allow you to quickly search the Ancestry card catalog. And it's automatically populated with census, birth, marriage, and death records from the United States, the United Kingdom, Ireland, Australia, Canada. And you can also manually search the card catalog. So say, for example, if I wanted to search for the 1930 United States Census, it's automatically completed there. And I'll hit the Enter key, and it will take me automatically to the card catalog search for the United States 1930 census. If I wanted to search, for example, one I search often, Ontario deaths, I type that in, hit the enter key, and I'm taken directly to that page. So it's a really quick way to navigate through the Ancestry card catalog. If you land on somebody's profile and you notice, oh, they died in Ontario, you can quickly pull up the search box and get to that record set in the card catalog quite quickly.
So that's Control plus /.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, got it. And so that's on a PC, so that would be Command plus / on the Mac. And I have a lot of Mac users out there.
Yep, Command or on the Mac and Control on Windows. Yep.
So a couple of questions. Here's Maria, the world's best and greatest neighbor. I miss you, babe. That's from the old neighborhood. Is there a help sheet that defines all the shortcut keys thus far? Luckily, it's on screen for part of it. We may have to memorize this one, Maria.
Yeah. So the for the advanced research tools, they're all kind of included in the actual link. So that's kind of the guide there. And the only other key shortcut that I've integrated is the Control /, and that it appears in the name. So the feature is called Card Catalog Search via Control Command plus /.
So
and with
it would behoove us to I've just downloaded the Genealogy Assistant, and I'm going to do a lifetime. But it would behoove us to select all, would it not?
All of the features, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because then you don't have to memorize anything, yeah. Except for that Control plus /. So Maria, I'm going to now send you a text message, Control plus / to you can remember it. All right.
And with the card catalog search, you can also, if something doesn't appear in the, because the Ancestry card catalog is quite broad, the autocomplete, it only covers, and by the autocomplete, I mean, for example, if I type in, Canada census, it'll have a list of all the Canadian censuses that you can page through, but the Ancestry card catalog has many tens of thousands of different record sets. They won't all appear in this autocomplete section. So if you type in, for example, I have a lot of family from Essex in the United Kingdom, you can search for Essex in the card catalog as a title. You can search for Essex as a keyword in the card catalog. So if I search for title, it will open up a card catalog search, and it will give me every set of records that has Essex in the title. So it's a quick way to access the kind of full breadth of the Ancestry card catalog as well.
That's good, because we don't always know the exact title of something. But
yeah, exactly.
If it's part of the character string, then we're good. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see. So Randy also points something out, that the descriptions are in the overview section on the Chrome extension page. So let me share my screen for a minute. Okay, this is what we're talking about, Randy, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here's the options. I couldn't believe it. Adds custom features, advanced research tools. You're going to want to just print this out, I guess, till you get the hang of it. If you are digitally challenged like old Myrt here. I mean, these are just the family search tools starting here. These are the MyHeritage DNA tools starting here. I'm scrolling back up. Put these in bold. It's easier for my eye. I can't believe it. Ancestry DNA tools. These are ancestry research tools that are available. That's incredible. We have spent a good bit of time talking about this program, and people are saying, thank you. Looks like this is a good program. What is this that Randy's, oh, there, that's that. And Frank, what's your comment here? Talk to me about this.
Yeah, sure. When you use the card catalog search entry, does it remember what you enter? So if you search over and over for the same catalog themes, does it remember what I searched before?
Yeah, so it does to a certain extent. So if I bring up the card catalog search.
Okay, let me share your screen just a second. I'll get you back on. Yeah, there we go. We're looking at your screen again.
So it will remember, if I bring up the card catalog search, it will remember the last 3 searches that you made. So if you scroll down, we can see that, it was our search of Essex, Ontario death records, and the 1930 U.S. Census. So the last 3 will be remembered. I would, in the future, I think I'd like to make it a little bit smarter, kind of to make it remember ones that you search for more often. So if if you're searching for something and you've clicked on it, say 10 times, it will be more likely to appear higher in the list. That's a feature that I'd like to add in for sure.
Good discussion. Very good discussion. Let me see what else. Deneen Cousin says, I can hardly wait to download this. It's such a time saver. So you can pay for it monthly, $199. 23 is something is the current forever lifetime. Let's see what else. We've got everybody else's comments in. I think people are excited, Dan. They're excited.
That's great. Yeah.
That's a thing that coders like to hear. Well, thank you very, very much for joining us today. And you're welcome to stay and hang out, see what else
I'd
we're
love
going
to.
do.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. All righty, let's see what's next on the docket. I'm pulling up my Google Sheet. Yes. I want to talk about Scotland's people. So let me bring that up. Just a second here. And Randy, thank you so much for helping with that segment. Scotland's people, you got to spell it right, old Myrt. P-E-O. There. I can do this, silly old Myrt. Yeah. Live video is always fun when you have typos. All right, let me do my screen share. And when we had planned last week that we would meet, and Scotland was going to be our topic, and Scotland's research, scotlandspeople.gov.uk is what I want to explore with you live today. Okay, Scotland, I keep putting too many A's in there. People.gov.uk. Now, one of the reasons that I want to talk about this is, okay, we'll accept their cookies. And I guess I better log in. And I must have zoomed in a whole heck of a lot, but that's okay. So Scotland is a very unusual country as far as the internet is concerned, because it was the first country to decide, hey, it behooves us to get everything digitized and up on the web. And they, unlike what happens here in the United States, have a different attitude about church and state records. So government records versus ecclesiastical records. And I like to know who out there has Scottish ancestry. And anybody on the panel who does, come on up and join me so that we can have a discussion here. And let's go forward with that. So basically, yeah, you've got your normal search engine, their search box for that particular website. And but oh, good. There's Dan. You have Scottish ancestry?
I do, yeah.
Okay. So you're familiar with this website. If you even begin to do Scottish research, you hear about this website from other people. What kinds of documents have you found that lead you to, that yet you believe indicate family relationships for your tree? What kinds of documents?
So on Scotland's people, I've found particularly marriage, parish marriage registrations in the Church of Scotland, and which have led me back to births in the same parish.
Yeah, that's a good clue. Let's talk about marriage records then. One of the good things about websites like scotlandspeople.gov.uk, and I probably should actually send this out to everybody, is that in addition to, okay, search our website for records, they're also giving you some information. And in this case, they have a lot of real estate on the page. So it isn't a pop-up. It's actual text on the page. So if you're looking for marriage records in Scotland, they didn't start keeping them till 1855. Okay? That's when it became compulsory. Before that, it was parish records, as Dan was talking about, that he had to look for. And this website will have parish records. But when you see statutory registers of marriage guide, that sounds kind of like, you know, we don't use this term except in criminal cases, stuff like that. The terms are slightly different, but so it isn't a criminal marriage that we're talking about here, folks. Just be calm. These are quick links to that jump you to certain portions of this informational page that gets you oriented to getting a copy of marriage records and how to order them and what you can expect to find in them, etc. And this helps us when we are new to doing research in an area or locality where we have not been doing a lot of research. Like Dan has been doing research in Scotland. I don't have Scottish ancestry. So if I were beginning, I definitely would be reading every little bit of information that a website can give me about their record set. They know their record set. They know when the records began to be kept. They know because they're archivists who are familiar with these records that these are the types of things you're probably going to find. The rank or profession of a father can be a very distinguishing factor if you've got two men in the locality where that are possibilities for the father. But you happen to know from other research you've done that there were 4 generations of watchmakers. So that would lead you to believe that the marriage record where the profession of the father of the groom or bride is mentioned as a watchmaker. Wow, maiden name is always wonderful. And then they give you actual samples of records, although they're not clickable. So you're going to have to just really zoom in, but let's zoom in a little here. So 2nd of November, and this is their signature, but it sure doesn't look like their signature, does it, guys? Those look like the same. That looks like the same handwriting. Oh, just indicates it's signed. So this is a copy. And then I've never heard of irregular marriages in Scotland. So there happens to be an article, a post that was made at this website regarding the subject of marriage that would explain peculiarities of marriage records. Let's see, we've got some comments from the community. Gwen is saying Scottish on both sides. Her mom was pre-colonial, so that was that Ulster Scot migration. And she's giving you surnames. And her dad's side came from Aberdeen, plus many more. And they were, so, wow. So we may have to, do we have to curtsy when we see you, Gwen? Okay. And John says that Ancestry's DNA tells him he's 21% Scottish Highlands, although Cunningham was a lowland family stuck in Western Tennessee in 1830s. So, John, give me some feedback here, just as a point of information. When you had the incursions from England into the territory of Scotland, didn't people move from the lowland to the highlands to escape? Tell me if that's true or not. I think it is. And the ones that came over in Tennessee, that's a very typical migration pattern that we're aware of. They go to the Carolinas and into Tennessee. Yeah, Hillary, you have something to say.
Yeah, they had highland clearances where the landowners forced people off, and a lot of them went to Ireland, but they may have gone to lowland parts of Scotland as well. So
back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm kind of mixing my stories here between talking about marriages and talking about migration patterns within Scotland and to the New World. Yeah. All right. Why is old Myrt belaboring the point here? I want you to recognize how much education you can receive from this website about record sets, when they began to be kept, peculiar related topics about record sets. And remember at the very beginning, I said that their record sets are not only government records, but ecclesiastical records. Many times, and I try to focus on beginning research concepts, many times beginning researchers say, I giving a recent example where it was a United States example. Somebody said, I wrote to Iowa to get the birth record for my ancestor who lived there in 1883 from the family Bible. That was the information. Well, Iowa was late on recording births. But that isn't what the local county courthouse or the local, government told her. They said, we don't have records for that time period. Okay. They didn't explain the concept. They just said, we don't have it. This website explains the concept for you. I also always recommend that you look to see what Family Search's Research Wiki has to say about something. Somebody get that link and pull it up for me for Scotland, if you please. Maybe Randy will find it. We have to orient ourselves to what has survived. Sometimes think about it from the clerk's point of view in a courthouse where they keep marriage records at the state vital records or the county vital records department or the public record office, as they call it over in England. And they're kind of busy with the current stuff going on, processing the current paperwork that's coming in. And if you get a new person that's answering your query, well, first of all, they can't take time because they're being inundated by paperwork. It's up to us as researchers to do everything we can to orient ourselves to when records began to be kept have they, like Florida does a thing with marriage records and other records. They will send periodically at the end of X number of years, they'll send those vital records to Tallahassee. That's the state capital, by the way. Okay, I'll pull up Family Search. I can do that. I probably should be using my text expander to pull these things up. Here we are at Family Search. Sign in. I hope it remembers me. Yeah, it does. Thank you. And I didn't mean to belabor the concept of signing in. That's if you're going to be making a post, a comment in the family tree or something, they want to know who you are. Okay, let's go to Family Search. Search the research wiki, and we'll go to Scotland. Come up, come up. There it is. Okay, so you can click on Scotland or just type it in. And let me zoom in a little so you can see what the heck I'm doing. Okay. There we go with our flag. Here's the information. The navigation is on the right side. And let's go to vital records. Well, they moved archives and libraries and things to the bottom of the list. Apparently, I haven't been looking lately. Religious records, poor law. Where the heck is vital records? Military, naturalization, newspapers, online. There's so many records. There we go. They're calling it civil registration. Okay. Because that's what they call it over there. Okay. So they're explaining this as well. When records begin to be kept, they're known as statutory registers. There's that phrase. Okay. And then where they are available to you online. Almost always you will find things at scotlandspeople.gov.uk. Notice the indicator of the $. Yes, you do at Scotland's People. If you find something that you would like to look at in their birth, marriage, or death, you want to look at the original document as opposed to a transcript, you're going to have to pay a few points. Now, this isn't, I'm logged in and I have 40 credits. So let's just look up, I don't know, what's an ancestor of yours, Dan? Shall I try Maloney?
If you, George, or let's do Agnes Cardno, Cardno.
And Agnes, and this is, I almost made a mistake, guys, because they are doing surname first and then forename, their given name. Female. And any time period?
She was born in 1838.
Oh dear, what am I looking for? Born in, just a second. And it's 1838. Let's see what happens. Okay. I'm going to put 1839 all. And do you know the county?
In Aberdeenshire.
Okay. Am I getting there?
I think you'd want to use the check box, the selection box with the one above.
Which one above?
The drop down one that's above district. And if you select Aberdeen, the first one.
Okay. And do I need to click Aberdeen here as well?
No, I think I would just leave it. Personally, I would leave it at all.
All right. Thank you. Okay. 2 errors have been found. They didn't like my years to and from. That's probably because they don't have it for that early time period.
Yeah, this is actually, now that I think about it, you're on that page for statutory records, not parish records. So
yeah. Okay, but you know what? Somebody else is going to do this same thing because it was before 1855. All right, so we want to go back to search records, and we want to look at parish records. And so that's where we will find, see, 1837 is England, but 1855 is Scotland, beginning of their public vital records, known as statutory records. All right, so we'll go here. Somebody's going to make the same mistake, so I'm not at all worried. Okay, so do we know if it's OPR or Roman Catholic?
Yeah, it's the Church of Scotland, yeah.
Okay. Now, in the olden days, it was those of us who use microfiche at family history centers, we were looking in the OPRs, the old parish registered microfiche. There was a whole entire drawer and a half of them. Amazing. So it was Cardno
Yep.
and Agnes. And what was it again? 1850. What was
1838.
it? Okay. And, oh, okay, that's fine. Now we'll pick Aberdeen. Not necessary, anything more, click search. Okay, so, sorry, no results. Shall we go back and modify? And it's not happy for some reason. Could it have been reported at a different time or a different locality?
If you go to the county city, the drop-down box in the middle.
Yeah. All right, we'll do that search. Still didn't find her. Great. I'm sorry.
What if you make it just a little more broad? If you search
female,
all of
surname,
Scotland.
Okay.
So if you just
these are radio buttons. I can only pick one or the other.
Yeah, but if just search like the entire, instead of specifying like a county.
Oh, okay, broader that way, but still Church of England or Church of Scotland. All right, folks, this happens in reality. That's for sure. 1838, and should we just say all?
Yeah, and I think maybe if you also set like kind of an end year, like 1839.
I didn't do that before. Okay. So I don't see your person on this list, but let's do this. Let's just pick one of these. This one looks like it's fairly filled in, but there's no image. To view this, it's 6 credits. This is like an abstract, as we call it, where they pick and choose some of the text from the particular certificate, right? And I'm going to spend 6 of my 40 credits to view this. Yep, it will cost me 40 credits. And it was something like $10, guys. It wasn't very much money. Okay. And so now it comes up, and here's the entry. There's a citation at the top. And we should be able to find the person, but look at each entry. So there's a name of the person, the child of, let's see if I can zoom in with my mouse. I cannot. I can scroll with my mouse. Let's make it full screen. Okay, come on up, guys. We'll zoom out a little. Oh, great. I love it when things happen like this. Okay, here we are. There's the option to print. There are the image controls to adjust brightness. and to be able to crop. I just totally, there we are. Let's invert so you can see what this is very helpful to me when I've looked at websites where there was bleed through from the other side, to invert as I have done by that button. There is the ability to crop out the section for your particular ancestor. Let's go back. If you need to order this certificate, it's added to my basket, which should be up here. And it's $12 or 12 pounds rather. 15 working days. Click here if you need this order to be a priority. So we have access to the image, which is perfectly fine for genealogical research purposes. If you need to work with things in the court of law, you may need to have a certified copy. But you also are going to be doing the same proof argument writing to distinguish this person from another person by the same name. All right, let's see what the community has to say. All righty, I'll pull this up this way. Thank you, Dan, for hanging out with me on that. Okay, so let me scroll back. Frank, you need to be up in this discussion apparently, because I see you have a comment here. We don't have it simply tells you we don't have it, not that there aren't duplicates somewhere else.
Yeah, I was referencing to lost and misplaced documents that you may or may not want from an archive. For example, I was researching my maternal ancestors, and suddenly they were all born in a small village in Eastern Prussia, and the whole church archive was completely destroyed. But luckily, some minor changed duplicates survived in the higher ups.
Oh, like a bishop's transcript in England, yep, where they sent that annual report in. Yeah, and you got to bet that if there was any slight possibility of advance warning of even a few minutes, that somebody's going to grab the parish register and take it under their cloak as they evacuate. Things like that are coming to light all the time, amazingly enough. Yeah, Betty Lou says, Frank, there's a problem in the U.S. in that each state, because of the state legislatures' decisions, they have their own way of keeping track of records. We don't have a universal. So that's back to the state things. Yeah. Sherry says some states decide to keep a copy in the local and forward a copy to the state. Yeah, I wish that was possible in every state. There is no federal guidelines other than to say, in our case in the U.S., in 1920, they were required to start keeping public records of birth, marriage, and death. Although, of course, if you have New England research like Cousin Randy, you're lucky because those towns kept records from the beginning. Betty Luce, or no, wait, let's see.
That was mine.
Doesn't the census have a local copy and a federal copy? Okay, well, we're getting way off topic, but I got to answer this.
Yeah.
So the enumerator went around and enumerated people in the U.S. federal census. Sorry, Scotland, we're going to we'll get back to you in a minute, theoretically, possibly. So he likely, it was a he until recent generations, he entered the information in his book or on his pages. 2 copies were made. The original stayed in the county, and not all of those have survived. I had the opportunity to see them in a county in Iowa but it was in the top floor of an unair-conditioned building, in the attic of that. And it was a very hot day, and I declined to walk the stairs. It didn't have an elevator that worked. Didn't work with my wheelchair. Would be interesting to compare. The first copy went to the state, and the second copy went to the federal government. Why? Why do you think that is, guys? Go ahead,
shit
Frank.
happens.
Say again?
Because shit happens.
Oh.
Something will happen and document get destroyed. So
that's would be great. That if everything they made multiple copies. The major reason why is that each state gets 2 senators, but the number of congressmen from each state is determined by the population within the state. So the state wants to know about the population in each of their counties, right? And the federal government wants to know as well. So that they can decide, okay, you get to have 1 more congressman now that you're bigger. Yeah, let's see. Betty Lou is saying some stay in the county until state registration, and the older ones stay in the county. I don't know. It could be not the states I've done research in. There are territorial census that stay. In Washington State, there were several. In Utah, there were several. The rest of my research, well, Iowa has state census, and they're wonderful because they're on the opposite 5 years difference from the every 10 years of the federal census. Yeah. Some of those, except they keep sending in territorial census records copies to the federal government saying, aren't we big enough now to be a state? And then finally the federal government says, yes, you're big enough, we'll let you be a state. And from then on, they're always included in the federal. Okay, we got all kinds of comments. Let me bring the rest of them up here. Okay, you're saying some of your original documents were destroyed, but the duplicates survived. We got that.
Yep.
And this is the tragedy of war, Frank. I'm not even being political or talking about that, because the basic people that lived in Germany were good people, and their records and their culture were being destroyed, as well as what was happening in England and elsewhere. War is just horrible. Okay, and then there's that comment. Apparently, you and Betty Lou are having a big conversation
Yeah.
over there on the YouTube side.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think that Betty Lou has a point when she says that government offices don't talk to each other. They have no idea if a record even existed, but I honestly think it's not that. I think the deciding factor is does that employee that answers your query have the institutional knowledge of, oh yeah, we send those records to the state, so we don't even have a copy. They haven't yet, a new employee has not yet learned that. And yeah.
For example, from my office, when I get a request for looking into building documents, which I do for a living, I simply say to the requestee, yeah, if you want to have pictures of that building, until the 1950s, we had them. We also made them. But in the 1950s, a different department took over, and our old pictures are now held in the city museum, go to them, ask them for our collections and look them up.
Well, and we're seeing this in archives and libraries all over. Most recent case in point, this concept of it's like there's not enough room in one archive, so they move stuff here. Remember the New York regional branch of the National Archives of the United States recently closed, and some of the things are going to Philadelphia and some of the collection is going to Kansas City, and they have not yet told us which are going where. And yet there's a reason why they initially had regional archives, and that is that aside from a core collection of microfilm that might be applicable for whole U.S., what was in a regional archives was supposed to be what pertained to that region, hence the term regional archives. Wow, we're having quite a big discussion today. Oh, yeah. It's a challenge. All right, once more back to Dan. Let me pull you back up on the stage. I love it, though. This is where our agenda can go amiss. But what happens is, if you go to a regular Genealogy Society meeting, Dan, you don't get to ask these questions and have these discussions on the side that are questions people really have. You are sharing your screen, and talk to me about this particular screen that you're sharing.
Yeah, well, what I can do is I actually have in another tab here, I've got my Scotland's people open. So these are a collection of records that I've got on Scotland's people. This
okay. This is very good. So it keeps track of what you've already viewed or researched and maybe ordered.
Yeah. So this record here. So this is the marriage of my fourth great-grandparents.
Can you zoom in?
Yeah.
Is that Command ++ or something like that? I don't know. Been a while since I had a Mac. All right.
So this is the entry here. There's two entries on this page. The top one is a different set of people, but it's actually
so it's when, where, and how married.
Yeah. So the top entry is actually the entry of my ancestors. So this is the marriage of George Cardno of Burn Mill in the parish of St. Fergus.
Okay.
His father, William Walker, and his mother, Jane Walker, maiden surname Wallace, who was deceased.
Very informative. And that's that part where it says William Walker, the father, was a laborer. When I was talking about if you had 4 generations of watchmakers, that's where that particular information is so valuable. That's not something we see on our marriage applications for a license or the return of a marriage, which means the minister sent the paper back saying I did in fact marry these people. So I just love these records. They're so detailed.
And the wife, so this is Agnes Cardno, and it has her father's information, George Cardno, who was a miller. And in my research, all of the the male Cardnos of this family, of my line, they were all involved in different types of grain milling. That was their profession, even a profession that they brought to Canada. So this Cardno family is deeply they all seem to be listed as millers. As you say, the profession really is quite telling in these times, in these families.
Okay, so perfect. Thanks for doing this and bringing this up, because I kept getting off track with other questions that were going on in the community, and you got us back to an understanding of the records. Now, these records have clearly been transcribed. They're talking about, remember, in parentheses, signed under signature of the person. That's not that person's signature. So this is a second entry, a second copy of a marriage record, but it's what has survived. So thank you. All right, we're coming up on 9 minutes left to go in today's broadcast. And so what I need to do is pull everybody up here. Let's see. Let me look at the docket. What have I missed? Oh, yes. I want you to know that Find My Past is giving you access this weekend. Remember, every weekend leading up to the Remembrance Day, and we are meeting next Monday as well. They are giving full access to the 1939 register. Now, this is a census substitute. Let me pull up Hillary. Why are some of the pages in the registry blanked out?
This is a register that contains everybody that was alive in 1939. Mm-hmm. So because it was everybody that was alive in 1939, some of those people are still going to be living. So they will not release, they won't show somebody if they don't know if they're still alive or not, and they were not born before, well, it'd be probably 1924 now, because, or 1923, it might go to 1924 next year, because it has to be somebody that was alive and they were at least 100 years old, so it'll probably be 1923 they would cut off. But there are people that are showing on there that were born after that time, but they know that person has passed away. Like I've got parents that are on there that I can see on there, because I know they've passed away, and they discovered, they know that this person has passed away, so they've been revealed. But sometimes, occasionally, it doesn't work, but most of the time it does.
All right, most of the time. Of course, it would be my people that wouldn't show up. No, my people were already here, but
well, I know there's people that have passed away that are not on there, but they may have only passed away recentish, and they may not be they may not have come through their system of checking whether somebody's passed away, or they might have passed away somewhere elsewhere.
Yeah. All right, so let me show you what it looks like. First of all, when you search for something like just Worthington and you get 3 entries, whichever one you've clicked on, which is this darker color, for me it's green, but on that screen it looks blue. What they are doing is giving you the transcript in this lower portion of the birth date, etc. But if I switch it, then it's now giving us Rosina. So that's a little bit different layout. You can copy all this to the clipboard, and I do that and paste it in notes for that individual's entry. Okay, and I call the 1939 register an event in that person's life, because somebody came around and enumerated them. They were alive at that point in time. It took them a year to do it, and there's about 41 million plus names in this collection. And there is no 1941 census, so this is the best they've got. And it's pretty darn good. All right, let me actually click to view the record. We'll view the original record, but it will be free this weekend. Okay. All right, now this page has an example where there are several records that are officially closed. It doesn't mean permanently closed, as Hillary said. Once they coordinate the fact that, okay, this person has passed away, they will unredact. Is that a word?
Yeah. The one at Find My Past is more up to date. They have got 1939 on Ancestry now, but I don't believe that they've actually got all the redactions removed, because I think they're using an older version of it, because I know Find My Past do update it each year, because they you know, obviously as the years go past, they can remove the ones that were over 100. So
yeah, that makes sense. Well, that's very good information that I didn't know about the 1939 register. All right. So if you've got people in that time period in England, this should help you. All right, let me see what else is on the docket. I can do a quick lightning round. Hillary.
Bye-bye.
Bye, sweetheart.
mine is the next one.
Yeah. All right. I'm just going to do the Cheryl Hudson passing. And Randy and Hillary, your other topics, let's push them to next week because they're very, very important.
Yeah.
All righty. Gosh. Well, it's just what is. All right.
And then they end up getting their trees wrong, and then they have to cut off branches, and it's just no fun. So I wanted to put together a presentation that will help people, especially those that are starting out. But we all need these reminders to make sure that we're not just name collecting, but we are making sure we're confirming the names that we're putting on our tree.
All right. Could you all hear that? I don't know. Anyway, this was your suggestion, Hillary. Our good friend, Cheryl Hudson Passy, who used to be a panelist and she was a regular on many of our study groups, just gave this talk, which is perfect for beginners. And it's where beginners can switch from name collecting, anybody by that surname has to be mine, to actually confirming that name, that person belongs in your family tree. Let me also get the link to her handout. 1 second here, and I will give that to you. And we do have our giveaway to do. So let's see how far we've gotten with that. Oh dear, I hope I didn't get rid of it. Giveaway tool. Let me have the panelists come up. If you could bring them all up, Frank. I'm going to quit sharing my screen for a minute while I set this up so that I can give away that book. And I did close that screen, so I'm going to have everybody wait a minute, don't do it yet. I will pull up the giveaway tool first on my side. And panelists, tell me what you're planning to do in the way of research or whatever this week. 2 or 3 sentences each. Frank, you're in charge. Pull them up one by one.
Let's go Hillary first.
I have received a copy of a will today, which there was some contesting of whether it was valid or not, and I'm going to be writing up the story on the website I mentioned last week. We are XYZ.
Okay, cool.
I myself hopefully will post again in my blog some things about the research that I have done. And luckily I have this week off, so I can finally post again.
You might get to it. Yeah, cool. Okay, Maria.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm currently working on my grandson's paternal line. So that's what I've been doing, and it's been fun.
It would be fun for him to see him at the beginning.
Yes.
Of a pedigree chart.
That's what I've done. Yes.
Right there. That's cool.
Yeah.
Randy, could you narrow it down to one of the things you're going to do this week? Okay, you're muted, honey. He's muted. You can unmute.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
2 words, artificial intelligence.
That's your favorite thing of late.
I need the help, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Cousin Dave, what are you doing genealogically this week?
big challenge. I bought a new laptop and I had them. It's a long story. I'm just reconstructing dozens and dozens of client trees, including my own, if I can call myself a client. It's a bit of a mess. However, the good news is because all this happened, all of the documents, all the documentation that were attached to people that disappeared with my old laptop have suddenly reappeared. What a miracle.
Good. That's encouraging. You haven't lost it all. Yeah. So Dan, you've been a major portion of the show today, and I really appreciate your being here.
It's been my pleasure.
What are you planning to do genealogically this week?
So my focus this week, kind of in honor of Remembrance Day, is doing a post on the story of my great-grandfather who served in the First World War. He was what's known as a British home child. He was a young lad that came over to Canada from England alone by himself, but at only 8 years of age. And the only time he ever went back to England was when he was serving in the First World War in 1917 and 1918. So I'm going to do a post just to kind of share a bit about him and the great life that he had.
We're going to want to have a copy of that. So send us a link, and because that's pretty cool. In fact, come back next week and talk to us if you have time. I don't know what your schedule is, but definitely to have an actual, this is very cool. Yeah. I'm going to be, as part of the Historical Society work that I do, digitizing about a 6-inch stack. That's bigger than, of documents and letters. And we had a very eccentric neighbor who died a number of years ago. And these papers have come into the Historical Society's possession. And I have one of those good scanners, overhead scanners, that takes the picture really quickly and automatically realigns and straightens them up. And so I've got to get that done before tomorrow's Historical Society meeting. So I can just give it to them on a flash drive and return these. Anytime I have original documents that belong to our archive, we don't have a museum yet, I'm very anxious. I don't want to have a fire or anything like that. All right, well, let me share my screen, and we are going to see that we now have 11 entries. So there's more than 11 people out there watching. And Dan, we've got 27 watching right now on the YouTube side, which sounds like a small amount. Great, there's another entry. 12 of you have done it. This is what you need to type in. Hashtag Mondays with Myrt. Doesn't matter if it's upper or lowercase. Those words just have to be squished together. 13 was Betty Swan. We'll see what happens. Come on, guys. Dan, what we found historically is that we'll typically have this number of people interacting with us, which is about all we can entertain the conversation with. And then over the next week, we'll get up to anywhere from 200 to 400 people that watch it on the recording. That's not me watching it 400 times. And you have to put the hashtag in there, Melinda. Good to see that you were watching, dear. Okay, now I have 14 entries. Type in again, Melinda, with the hashtag, that little pound sign thingy. And what I'm doing is giving away your choice of a either the Kindle version, which I prefer, or the paperback version of Genealogy Standard, second revised edition. All right, I'm ready to cut it off. Come on, give me that. Give me that hashtag. Okay, there you go. That's fine. Okay. All right, and let me pull up this comment from Valerie. Hi, Val. Great discussion. Thank you. This week, this is what she's going to be doing. She's writing up her mom's activities in the year 1949, her parents' golden wedding anniversary. Then she can get on to 1946 finally. Sounds like you had a plethora of information there. That's a terrible problem to have, Val. I love it. Okay, I'm going to hit the draw button And we'll see who wins for today. Yay, Wanda. Okay, Wanda, I don't know if you have my email address. I'll type it in the chat, dearmyrtle@gmail.com. And let me know if you would prefer the Kindle version of the book or the paperback version. I'll send you either one direct from my offices at amazon.com. I love it. Thank you. Congratulations. I love that confetti that they do. Yes, I'm working on my Genealogy Assistant. And I have to remember to send it also. Send that over to Hillary. Let me make a note. If I don't write it down, old Myrt forgets. Okay, folks. All right, we've gone over a few minutes. That's pretty good considering. We had a lot to talk about today and a lot of interactivity from people. Let's see. Yeah, I finally got to that giveaway thing. Nothing left to say, but I'm Dear Myrtle, your friend in genealogy. Happy family tree climbing, everybody. That's a wrap.